Welcome back to another video on Influential Sports. And let me just say that this was the most chaotic episode of Impact. Whenever you seeing this, was this as soon as it's out Thursday night or it's Friday morning. But this June 12th, 2025, most chaotic episode of Impact this year. Let's talk about how the show started with Santino Marella. He was in the parking lot with Mike Santana, who was on suspension, and he was telling Mike Santana that he really wanted to get his hands on AJ Francis, but he gotta wait, or he's gonna get fired if he go in that building. So Mike Santana, having respect for Santino just as a person, he was like, okay, I'll be back in 2 weeks because he want to get his hands on AJ Francis bad, and I'm excited to see that match. I don't really know what I could see them holding it off to a Slammiversary because I think the match gonna end in a DQ. But they'll probably get a clean winner once they do the match at Slammiversary, more than likely. But I like this. And then Santino, he started to show off, had a segment talking about all the stuff going on in TNA. Then he brought out the Inspiration, who was in TNA for the first time in 3 years, former Knockouts Tag Team Champions. They had a match against, forgive me for forgetting these ladies' names, but the Inspiration had a match against two women jobbers, basically, who aren't really on the roster. But it was actually a solid match. I'm kind of wish I wrote down their names and remembered it, but they was getting in some good offense. But the Inspiration hit their finisher, the Idolizer, that's a cool name for a tag team finisher. And it's a cool move, too. So I was rocking with it. So I could see them definitely going back to the top of the tag team division, definitely winning those tag titles again. Because there's not many tag teams in TNA. Like, they done brought some more in. Like, they might have a match with Harley Hudson and Marla Grace. Like, that could be a cool number one contenders match to see who faces the Elegance brand. But yeah, I'm definitely excited seeing them back in action. I know them as the Iconics. I ain't seen them in their first run in TNA, but it's good to see them wrestle again. They look great in the return match. The Hardy Boys segment was pretty good. They talked about them wanting gold again, but it starts since they lost the rematch, even though that's a technicality because Leon Slater was part of the rematch because Jeff couldn't travel the border to go to Canada. But anyway, it was like it starts tonight by defeating First Class because they got to start racking up some wins before they get another rematch at those tag titles. So that was a good segment. And then speaking of First Class, they did the First Class Penthouse. This was probably one of the best editions of the First Class Penthouse with AJ Francis, Casey Navarre. AJ Francis wanted to see who could do the best money. He brought out this one kid. The kid did it pretty good. He was like by the entrance ramp. He did it pretty good, and AJ France was like, "You're not getting nothing for free," because he had $100 bill that he showed to everybody, a real $100 bill, saying he was gonna give it away, knowing he wouldn't, especially him being a heel. Now, if he did, that would have been cool. Maybe they did something backstage. Who knows? But I enjoyed that segment. The kid's name was Pedro. He did a good job with the money. But he didn't get that $100, so he just had to go back and take a seat where he was at. And AJ Francis brought out Trick Williams. And Trick, then Casey Navarro was getting a little too happy. I don't know what Casey Navarro was on, and Trick was like, calm down. He was like, pardon me, like that was kind of funny. But they was chanting First Class Trick. So I like it. I like what they're doing with Trick and First Class and First Class, and they going after the tag titles. Now, which tag titles? I'd rather them go after the NXT tag titles because it accomplishes two things. Number one, it shows that WWE is willing to let TNA wrestlers hold their titles as well with TNA, letting the WWE wrestler hold theirs. And then two, it gets all three of them big heel heat because they're both in different companies, holding different companies' titles, and they're all a trio. So then the entire rosters of both brands would revolt against them. So I think that's what should happen. But that's just my opinion. Now they showed a replay of Mustafa Ali versus Jason Hyde at Against All Odds. Amazing match, but this was not needed. Like they showed like a good half of the match. Like we didn't need to see that. You just posted the pay-per-view on your YouTube channel, which is free. The TNA Plus subscription we have to pay for the people that have it. So that wasn't really necessary. When most people that had a subscription and seen the pay-per-view already seen it. So I don't think but the system they want Jason Hodge for some reason. Like they want to expand the system, seeing there's no leaders, even though Eddie Edwards is the one making all the moves. Like are we not like they can say it's no leader, but Eddie Edwards is the leader of that group, despite not having a championship. Despite Smooth having the title, Eddie Edwards is still the leader of that group. And then was ordered for, and they came. They got Jason Hyde, and he prepared for his match against Leon Slater. This was a cool match. The double stomp on the apron by Jason Hyde was a good move. I wasn't expecting that. But Jason Hyde, like recently seeing him in singles action, like he can really go. Like he could, if they wanted to have him on his own, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't be opposed to Jason Hyde having his own singles run, maybe being an X Division champion someday. But it was a solid match. Not a lot to take away from it. But Jason Hyde did have some cool spots. He did look good in the match. And the Swanton 450 for the win. Leon Slater didn't hit the big play Slater in this match, which is kind of a disappointment because I love that move. But he did hit it later in a different segment, which we'll get to. But it was a good match. Leon Slater got the win. He's heading to his match July 20th versus Moose for the X Division Championship. He had the chance to not only become the youngest X Division champion, but the youngest champion in TNA history, period. So I'm hoping that happens because he's definitely earned it. He's definitely earned his spot. Like Leon Slater, he's been great. He's been having a great. He debuted in October last year, and he's just been having a great rookie campaign since going to TNA. Obviously, was on the independents before he got here. He's been having a good run. I hope he gets rewarded with a championship. Tessa Blanchard was pretty confident heading to the 8-4-1 match. And if y'all don't know what that is, an 8-4-1 match is an 8-woman tag team match, and the winning team breaks off into a fatal 4-way, and whoever wins that becomes the new number one contender for the women's for the Knockouts Championship. So the teams was Rosemary, Danny Luna, Tessa Blanchard, and Zara Brookside. So you got the history of Rosemary and Zara Brookside there, which played a factor into this match, and they would take on Jody Threat, Tasha Steelz, Killer Kelly, and Indy Hartwell. And obviously, Tasha Steelz and Indy Hartwell, they just went at it not too long ago. Like they've been in the feud for the last few weeks since Indy Hartwell got there. And then Jody Threat and Danny Luna on opposing sides. Now that they broke off as a tag team, they actually started off the match, but it was really some basic like grounded moves and stuff. It wasn't nothing too extra, wasn't nothing too special. Rosemary started choking Zara Brookside for whatever reason. Like I think them being on the same team, the way they organized these things was funny because you knew something was gonna happen throughout the match. But I think both of these matches, well, I think this match mainly, and then Victoria Crawford, she got involved, so she still got some stuff going on with what's her name, with Tessa Blanchard. And then Tessa Blanchard, she just got annoyed and she just left because she gonna get the title shot however she wants to. She not finna go through all this teaming up with people she don't really care about and having to do a fatal 4-way. You know Tessa Blanchard gonna get the title or the title shot however she wants to. She gonna get it her way. She not getting it like this. And Indy Hartwell, pin Rosemary, and they team will break off into the fatal 4-way. My only problem with this is in the 8-4-1 match, even though you have specific stories you want to tell, you could have switched some of these roles in this match. Like Indy Hartwell and Zara Brookside could have switched spots because Indy Hartwell and Rosemary don't have no history against each other. They're both heel and face, but there's no motive for Rosemary to choke her. Like at the end of the day, you want to try to get a title shot, and that sacrifices that. No matter the motive, you want a title shot at the end of the day. So they should have switched those two, to be honest, or put Danny Luna and Jody Threat on the same team because they both want to avoid each other. They just splitting up. Even though they want to go after the championship, you wouldn't see them really go after each other until the fatal 4-way if you were to do that. So I think that actually could have worked, or have them be hesitant to tag each other in instead of them be hesitant to fight each other. Because I think that would have been better. I think that's what that's the only thing the match really lacked, in my opinion. And then you had the fatal 4-way match with Indy Hartwell, Jody Threat, Tasha Steelz, Killer Kelly. This was a fun match. I just think it needed more time. I just think this match needed more time because Tasha Steelz, everybody really got some solid offense in, but I feel like everybody could have did more as well. Like it was fun. I enjoyed it. After Indy Hartwell hit her finisher, I think it was to Tasha Steelz, then Killer Kelly threw out the ring to get the pin, and now it's going to be Killer Kelly versus Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts Championship. But that concept is super cool, and I'm messing with that concept. I like it a lot. Then you have Steve Macklin. He snapped. He went off on Trick Williams because they're doing this championship challenge match where all the TNA men's champions are teaming up, if I'm not mistaken, to take on 5 potential challengers, and it's going to be interesting to see how that match plays out because They could go either super bad or super good. So we're gonna see like Steve Macklin, like he don't really care about anybody. He just care about himself. But he is pissed that Trick Williams got the world title. So we're gonna see what happens with that. And then Mance Warner and Steph Delander segment was kind of weird. Like I didn't really understand what was going on. I don't know if the guy and the guy at the ramp actually said something, like one of the people that worked for TNA. But then he just snapped. Then Tommy Dreamer came out there trying to calm him down, and it just ended with Tommy Dreamer getting beat up. Like there's really no sense of seeing a Tommy Dreamer match in 2025. Like, he can stay there and do backstage stuff, but we don't need to see Tommy Dreamer wrestle in 2025. And Tommy Dreamer probably my favorite person from ECW, to be completely honest. But I'm not trying to see him wrestle in the Big 25. I just don't think that's necessary. And then there was another segment. I forgot what it was. It was pretty forgettable. It was it Eric Young? It was Eric Young and Northern Armory. There was what did they? You know what? Just forget that. I don't even remember how the segment ended. No, it was with Sammy Callahan. Yeah, that was useless. Didn't get to the main event. First Class versus the Hardy Boys. This was a good tag team match. Just unfortunately, Casey Navarre got injured. I'm hoping it's not nothing serious because it was about 3 or 4 doctors out there checking on him. And he never returned to the match. So just prayers up to him. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Maybe it's just part of the story. Hopefully that's what it is. But I hope he's not actually injured because that would hurt First Class momentum right now. And that'd be a terrible time for that to happen. Like First Class has been getting some good momentum. So I would hate to see them not get rewarded with tag team titles this year because of an injury or like that. So hopefully it's nothing serious. So AJ Francis was going at it 2-on-1 really most of the match. Now Casey Navarro was getting work early in the match. Like he was getting work from both the Hardy Boys. Then AJ Francis got in there. It took a little extra work from the Hardy Boys because AJ Francis is a bigger guy. He's like 300 something pounds, 6 foot. So it took a lot more work for them. The 2 twister fates, and then Matt Hardy hit the side effect, and he was going to hit something else, but Trick Williams came out there to interrupt the match, started beating up on Matt Hardy, and the match just ended in a bunch of chaos. You had uh, Joe Hendry, Elijah come out there, the System came out there, Leon Slater, the Rascals came out there. Like it's just you got the System and the First Class back in Trick Williams, but you got everybody else back in TNA, and it's so funny because it's no NXT people back in. It's no NXT people on the side of TNA that want to see Trick Williams lose the title. So, which it makes sense, but it's like you got one side of TNA that's rocking with Trick Williams and another side that's not. So it's kind of funny. So they're doing a good job with the story. It ended in a lot of chaos. Like the women's, that whole kerfuffle or what they had, the 841, that was that was really chaotic. And some of these segments was chaotic as well. Even the way the show started, with Mike Santana getting threatened to be fired, then the way the main event ended. I give this show an 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this show. It was a great episode of Impact. Not the best, but it was the most chaotic in my opinion. But this was, hey, make sure y'all leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts on Impact.